Welcome back to What's on My Needles. This week I am actually filling out my inventory again, and I need to make another one of these. This is a blue and white, I call it woven heart. The actual technique is entrelac, which sounds kind of funny, but all it means is that these squares in the middle are worked in two different directions. So the white ones are worked this way and the blue ones are worked this way. So I'm going to show the white ones on camera and I will do the blue ones off camera because the blue ones aren't going to show up that well. So the front and the back are identical, and then the whole thing is put together with single crochets and then a chain stitch loop to hang it. So let me get set up and we will get going. Please remember to like, follow, and subscribe to these social media platforms. Links will be provided in the description below. So I've done the cast on and the first row. So now on to the quote more interesting part. So like most of my patterns, I did just slip the first stitch. Then I'm going to knit 4. And then I'm going to do my version of a knit 2 together. For most people, this will be an SSK, but as mentioned in other episodes, my stitches don't sit quite right. So I do what works for me. And obviously you can do what works for you. So that's all I'm doing all the way across. 2, 3, 4, knit 2 together. So I do have to make the semicircles that are the bumps of the heart first because everything else is actually built off of those semicircles. And I know that sounds a little weird, but that is actually just how it works. So let me bring this out again for a second. So after the bumps are done, after these semicircles are done, I'll be picking up here and working. But we will get there in a minute. I just wanted to make sure that you understood why I was starting with what looks to be circles when working on this. So I've done one decrease round, then I'm going to work back. And the decrease rounds change in how many stitches before the knit 2 together or SSK, depending on how you know that stitch. But that's all that changes. And knitting back, it's fairly simple and really fast. So this pattern actually came out of, well, pattern and product came out of a project that I did when I was a little kid. And that was a woven heart basket that was for catching Valentines. And it was the way that we were able to get ready for the Valentine's party at my school. Now I know most schools don't do Valentine's anymore. They do Friendship Day or some other way of saying Valentine's without actually saying Valentine's. But we were able to have a Valentine's party because this was 25, 30 years ago. So this time around, I slipped the first stitch, knit 3, and then I work 2 stitches together. Okay, so I'm going to continue in this fashion all the way till the end. And then when I get to the end, meaning 6 stitches are left on the needles. So I've got 4 wedges of decreases and my 2 salvage stitches. So that's going to be 6 stitches. I'm going to cut the yarn, and instead of weaving it back the way that it came, I'm actually going to cut the yarn and pull it through starting from this end. So starting from the opposite end from where the yarn will be. And that way it creates a really nice tight gather at the center of this semicircle. So I'm going to do all 4 of these and I will be back to show you the next step. If you would like to help fund this page, please find me on Patreon at Theatrical Crafts. So now for the part that is actually entrelac. So I'm going to take the white yarn and my blue heart, and I'm going to pick up some stitches. So I'm going to be starting right off of that center pull through. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now normally you'd be picking up all the stitches you need for that row on one piece. But I'm going to go ahead and pick up the last stitch on the white side of the heart. And so you know, that is the actual reason why I do the slip stitch on the edge. It's so that I can pick up stitches and really not have to worry about where do I pick them up, how do I make this look good. I have stitches on the edge that are really easy to pick up. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and knit across, slip that stitch, pick up a stitch through the next space, and slip that stitch over. So traditionally that would be an SSK, but because I'm going off of 2 finished edges rather than a finished edge and an edge with live stitches, I have to pick up and then slip over. So that's actually all there is to this. The next part is to do the blue after this one, and then one more white square, and then make the other side, and then crochet around the edge. But that's it. So I hope to see you next time on What's on My Needles.